America hasn't been involved in a world war in over 70 years, and probably not since the Cold War has the threat of a nuclear war been as palpable as it is right now. I recently had a chance to visit with the men aboard the U.S.S. Kentucky, America's deadliest weapon. The super sub is longer than the Washington Monument and ready to unleash more firepower than the world has ever seen. As you're about to see, should the unthinkable ever happen, America is ready. In the doomsday scenario of our worst nightmares, America would be forced to respond with what's known as our nuclear triad. Land-based missiles fired from secret silos. B-1 bombers would do their damage from the air. But America's salvation would likely come from somewhere deep under the waves, where silent, deadly killers lurk, from men like Commander James Hurt of the U.S.S. Kentucky. When you talk about the teeth of the triad, 70% of the firepower would come from America's submarine.
We talk about the ability to reliably respond to any aggression, and it makes sense that the leg of the triad that is the hardest to find, because we are undetectable once we go to sea, that's where the majority of the firepower should be.
Inside, she's $2 billion worth of the latest high-tech equipment. Her heart beats to the rhythm of 165 of the best America has to offer, and the best Arizona has to offer. Phoenix's Cody Blackburn is one of Kentucky's missile techs, and should the call ever come, he could be one of the men unleashing the deadliest attack the world has ever known.
I am here to execute the orders of the President of the United States, and I will execute them when called upon.
No hesitation?
No hesitation.
We train for that all the time. We are ready to execute that mission if called upon. I don't think there's anybody on board that really wants to execute that mission. In fact, I know there's nobody on board that wants to execute that mission, but we all understand that that's part of what we signed up for.
This multi-billion-dollar technical marvel is the tip of the spear for America's defense. And if the unthinkable were to happen, the captain, along with a specific chain of command, would have to deliver the president's orders to launch a nuclear weapon. That threat, perhaps more real now than at any time since the Cold War, was one of the reasons why we weren't allowed to shoot a lot of the ship. And everything that we did shoot was scrutinized with at least one security officer constantly looking over photographer Chad Brick's shoulder. It's also why a lot of our questions went unanswered. Are there actually nuclear warheads in these tubes right now?
Well, I appreciate your question, sir, but I can neither confirm nor deny the President's nuclear warheads on this ship.
The Kentucky, like all of America's ballistic subs, operates with two crews, each with its own captain, while one is at sea, usually for 70 days at a time.
Emergency report, flooding in the engine room.
The other is training, staying sharp on multi-million-dollar simulators, ready to jump in the minute the Kentucky returns to port. But despite her enormous firepower, with 24 nuclear missiles on board, Kentucky's mission isn't aggression, it's deterrence.
You know, there's no accident that we haven't had a world war in 70 years, and I think part of that equation is that the nuclear triad has been providing that strategic deterrence to deter, very capable conventional adversaries from getting into a conflict worldwide.
It goes back to what Roosevelt once said: speak softly, but carry a big stick. The Kentucky is America's biggest stick. But if you ask why they do what they do, all you have to do is take a peek in the captain's stateroom.
We can talk about patriotism and doing things for our country, and that's all very important, but when you can make it visceral, when you can talk about, we are providing freedom and security to our families and to the families of those around us and those we love, that makes it easier to do our job.
Now, obviously, because of the mission, there can be no mistakes when you're talking about nuclear weapons, and that's why the Navy has invested so much, not just in the subs, but in high-tech sub simulators. So next Monday, we'll take you inside these simulators that are so real, I actually got a little seasick on one of them. It was a 360-degree screen, and they can make, this was a trainer that teaches the submariners how to take the sub on the surface out to the dive point.
Oh, okay.
And you're looking around at the, the moving pictures, and you start feeling like you're actually rocking.
Now, what did it feel like inside the sub? I mean, were you claustrophobic?
No,
was everything very tight?
It's actually very big. I mean, now over 150 men on board, things are a little bit cozy when you're down there for 3 months at a time. But it was much bigger than I thought it would be.
Okay, so it felt perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You weren't trying to get out.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.